What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Ocular Demolitor, their version of a Masterpiece Scale Mixmaster. I picked this up from Toy Dojo, thanks for sending this out, and I am planning to get this whole set for myself. I really like the look of the robot and vehicle modes on these. I am still collecting the fans toys for the combined mode, and we will be doing versus as we go. But this guy is what we're going to look at today. There's a few things to do out of box, and some of them are options actually, but first thing is the toes. You can have this look, I guess it's cartoon accurate not to have toes. I just think it looks kind of weird, but if you want to fold them out, you can lift up on this, fold out the toe, and then fold that back. And then for a little bit more stability, you can fold out these heel spurs. They definitely make a difference. So I prefer that look, but you can have it without the toes if you prefer. The other thing that's not done out of box is this panel right here and these side panels for his abs. So this one right here, it may be pulled out and not compressed down. So you want to compress this down, and it tabs in right here. There's a slot and a tab, and that solidifies that butt flap. The other thing you want to do is fold this down, fold up the entire upper body, and in here you'll find two panels. I'm going to fold these out. And while we're in here, actually, there's the Ocular Max logo. I guess they hide it in various spots for each figure. And then you can close it. You can see there's a tab. It actually tabs in right here on the inside. So make sure that tab makes its way in. Bring this back down. These two clips should be, pushed in like that. So this tab's going to go into the slot. So you're going to tab that in. Then these two tabs are going to go into these two slots here on the back of the mixer. So make sure you hit all those. And then we'll put the head back, bring the arms back down. And now we're ready for action. You can see he's got filled in abs. Got the toes, he's got the heels, and I think this looks great. He does have a little bit of paint on him. You got the gray for the face, red for the eyes, red here, and a little bit of gray. The rest is plastic color. Well, except for maybe the windows. The windows are translucent purple with some silver behind it, so those look really nice. We'll see that more in the vehicle mode. Overall, I like the look, but I know there's a lot of people who ask about the paint, so I just wanted to be clear about that. Let's go over the articulation. Head is on a rotating swivel, so it can rotate around. You can also get it way down because the neck panel actually bends. There's a panel here that allows you to look up, which is interesting the way they did it. Or you can look down just by lifting up the head. Or if you lift up the whole neck panel, it goes way down. So plenty of movement there on the head. No side to side though. The arms can rotate around on a friction hinge, out to the side on a hinge. Rotation here at the bicep. Double jointed elbow. Gets you almost the full bend. If you were to move this piece, you would definitely get the full bend. But for accuracy, they left these here. You have rotation at the wrists. Fingers are individually articulated, but the bottom three are curled, but this time they've made the top finger able to go straight. So that's semi-new for Ocular Max. They usually don't give you a pointer finger, so I appreciate that. I appreciate giving at least a pointer finger. Being able to pose that is important. Continuing down, we have a waist rotation on a ratchet all the way around. Ab crunch, very deep, all the way down to there. I love that. I think that's a great thing. Oh, and we have these panels. Those should have been folded up. We have legs that kick up to there. Back to here, it is hindered a little bit by this butt flap. You can get it around it. Get it back. Out to the side on friction, holds just fine. Rotation at the thigh at a cut joint. I don't love the cut joint here. I think this definitely breaks up the sculpt. I didn't mind it as much on Scrapper, but this one I think it does break up the sculpt a little bit. You have a double jointed knee, full bend. It's gorgeous. Tilt on the ankles all the way out to there. Toe tilt down, heel tilt down. We do get some nice accessories. Of course, we get the guns or blasters for the top of the head. And they're done in silver. They do connect together. Later, I'll show you what purpose they have to do that. But this will plug in right here and here. And personally, I think this looks really good. Makes sense to put the side that's filled in on the top so you don't see anything. But yeah, I think I would definitely display him like this. I think that looks good. We also get his blaster, just done in black plastic, sculpted fine. This will fit in the hand, just like all the other Ocular Max figures. It slides into the back of the hand. That, and then we can close the fingers around. And that looks good. And we also get the trumpet done in this sort of bronze color. And that will fit into the hands as well. Same way, just slide it into the back of the palm. And because of the pretty good amount of articulation, you can really get it looking like he's actually playing it, right? I mean, it's got very good articulation. The head and the elbows and arms. You know, that's a perfect pose for that if you're doing it. All right, and for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime and the Takara Tomy MP36 Megatron. And I think this fits in pretty nicely. I've heard some people saying that these are too big. For my personal taste, as long as it's shorter than Megatron, I don't mind if they're big bots. You know, they were big bots in the show. But as long as they're shorter than this guy, I think it's okay. All right, now let's get Demolitor transformed into his vehicle mode. And it's a pretty fun and intuitive transformation, but there's a lot of little panels and things that you got to remember. Go ahead and remove these guns from the top. You can tab them together. And then we'll set this aside for now. It will store inside the vehicle mode. Lift up the arm. We can straighten that so it's tabbed together. We're going to lift up this panel, rotate it around, and then tab it back in down here. Same on this one. Lift up the panel, rotate it around, and tab back in. We're going to rotate the hand 180 degrees, open up the fingers. So they sit like this. The thumb is going to stay down like that. And then we're going to fold the hand in and it'll sit on top of this panel right there. Then we're going to come to here and we will slide this arm down and then open up this panel right here and then slide the whole arm down like that. So end up with something like this. All right, go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. I'll do it off camera. All right, now that we've got both arms taken care of, we can take care of the upper body. And this part is a little bit tricky, but go ahead and unplug this backpack. We're going to bring the head down. It'll actually go down by itself if you fold this backpack up, but I'm just going to show you where it goes. It ends up folding down and sitting flat on the front of the chest. Fold this down. Then we can lift up on this section here. Open those up. We'll come to here, fold out these little tabs. I just like to do that before I forget. And then fold these down flat. Open this up, fold that in, close that up. We'll just put away these flaps. Then we'll take care of this. So we're going to come to back here, undo these tabs that are holding this section in. Open this up and come to the back here, and you can use your fingernail or a spudger to get into here, but you're basically going to fold out this chute piece, rotate this around so it forms the chute on the top, rotate this around, and then bring this down and it sits flat on the back. Then we're going to take the barrel section and we'll open this up, rotate these around so they meet the front. Just make sure they actually meet up there. And then these will slide underneath here, and you can just rotate this back a little bit to give yourself some space. Get that right under there. Put that back in. And now we're going to bring this down a little bit. Fold the barrel. Make sure it matches up and meets up right here. There's little nubbins that have to line up. And then close it up on the top. And slide down here on the front. And it should look something like this. And it should rotate freely if you have it right. Fold this forward. Fold this forward. So here's how we're looking. This should be a flat surface. If you don't have that flat, you got something wrong. All right, come to the bottom. Oh, and I had one more click there, so just keep that in mind. All right, come to this section here, and we're going to take care of some of this. So open up your legs, undo this section, straighten this out, and then close it back up on itself so it's a flat panel. Rotate this around on the crotch, bring this around this side. Bend the ab crunch, and then rotate the legs back. So it sits like this. Leave this down for now. The arms are going to end up into here, and there's a tab right there and a slot right here. Rotate this so you can see there's a slot right there. And then there's a tab here that's going into a slot right here. And then there's 4 tabs along the side of the arm that are going into the bottom here. So all of those have to make their way in. In addition to that, this panel has to make its way in between them. So bring this over, tab it into the bottom, tab it into the back, tab it in to the bottom here. I do find this one's a little trickier. Hit the retaining clip right here. That'll hold that in place. And then this will fit right in between those 2 spots. All right, so that's one side done. Same thing on this side. You want to get all those same spots tabbed in. All right, now that we get that done, we want to slide this piece up. So we're going to bring this panel down to a 45-degree angle. You can actually slide it back. And you basically want this down a little bit at an angle. All right, something like that. And we're going to slide this waist piece up. Perhaps and do it like this. There we go. It's really tight, but that should go all the way up to there. All right, and when you're done, you'll see this is sitting at a 45 right here. That's pretty important to get everything lined up. All right, now let's take care of the legs. I'm going to do one, and we'll do the other one off camera. Fold in your heel. Fold in your toe. Come to the back. We'll open up this panel. Push down on the wheel, and then open up this panel. We're going to slide this panel out. You can use your hands, but I prefer to use a spudger. It's just easier to slide this panel out. It's on a hinge, and also it's tabbed in several places. So I just find it easier to pull it with a spudger. All right, now that you have that, we're going to undo this right here. And then we're going to accordion this and rotate this panel on the outside. So bring this up, And we're going to rotate this all the way back so it sits right down here. You can see how it met up there. This panel here, we're going to rotate this down, flip this around so you get the grill on the outside, fold that up on the back, and we're going to accordion this up into here. Make sure this lines up. So it should look something like this. All right, you can close this. This will come down and tab into the top, and then we're going to push this panel back in. So just line up all these tabs. It tabs into the leg right here, tabs into the bottom here, tabs into the top. All those panels should meet up. All right, that's how it looks. And same thing on this side. I'll do that one off camera. All right, now that we have both legs done, we can kind of put it together. I did forget to mention this clip right here is what holds the knee in. So you're going to undo that, and then you can just hide it back down on both sides. So bring these together and tab them together. Make sure this part is straight. All right, there is Demolitor in vehicle mode. And I think this looks great. I love the translucent purple with the silver behind it. You got silver here for the grille, white for the headlights and fog lights, silver accents and details, door handle here, silver for the wheel. The tire is it rubber? It's a rubbery material. It's not quite rubber, but it rolls great. No problem. Here's the back. You got tail lights. If you want, you can fold these down. I don't know if that's meant to go down or not. I think it adds some detail, personally. It also covers up this little bit. And I watched Pake's review. He didn't have those down in his initial review, so I'm not sure if you're meant to or not, but I do think it looks better with that down. Nice little mixer part here. That looks good. Overall, really nice. You can spin the drum. You have rear view mirrors, a little bit of silver paint there. All in all, pretty nice looking. You can store the weapons and the gun will just plug in right here on between the legs. The other weapon stores in here. I'm not sure if I can do it now. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like you can. So it's going to come right in here, and there's two little nubs. They're hard to see. There's one here and one here. This is going to fit right between those nubs. It's kind of an ingenious thing, but it just sits right there. And we can close this back up. Make sure you get this flush. You can still spin it. Stores in there nicely. That's a really cool idea. All right, for size comparisons, there it is next to the MP10 Optimus Prime and the previous release, their version of Scrapper. These two look great together. I would have preferred this to have been a little bit bigger, but I understand these two legs have to end up being the same size. But this works for me. I like the vehicle quite a bit. All right, now let's get Demolitor transformed into his combined mode. And I haven't practiced this one as much, but it's a really cool transformation. So we'll come back to here, open up the mixer. We'll fold this back, just out of the way. This can actually stay here. It's going to end up staying in the barrel, but we're going to lift this up so it comes higher up here. Fold this up, fold up this little green clip, and then we're going to feed this back underneath. Just kind of close it up a little bit and feed it through. It's easiest to feed it through when you have it kind of almost collapsed down to the cylinder. All right, this is actually going to peg in and lock this cylinder from spinning. And then we'll get these folded over and tabbed in. And we can push that back down. Once you push that back down, we can bring up these little clips. And that's also going to lock the barrel from spinning. They really don't want that barrel spinning. Right? And then this can go down, and that's pretty much ready. And now we can take care of this top part. We're going to come to the inside here, fold out this panel. And we're going to fold this back, putting this back on this double hinge. This will come down. We'll plug this into here and here. And I'm not sure if they want these down or up. I'm guessing down. This we can flip up, rotate this around, rotate the entire thing around, get this collapsed into here all the way so it's flat. You can see it's flush here. All right, so that's how we're looking for the top. Let's take care of the bottom. Open up these panels. There's actually a little ridge to get your fingernail in. We can separate the two halves. And we do have to get this pushed down. It's very tight, but oh, I just got it. That's the first time that's gone that easily. You're going to push this thing down. And then we're going to take these. We have to basically rotate all of this so it reaches the back. So open this up. Come to the inside. We're going to unpeg this panel. And like before, I recommend a spudger to separate this from the side. All right, so get that detached. Then we can lift this up. We're going to rotate this back around this way because now we want this toe piece. And we're going to take all this and fold up this panel, fold that down, fold this up, and then we'll tab it back in. So get this lined up with the side. And then tab it in. Back here, make sure all these tabs end up in there as well. Right. And there's actually a bit of a heel spur back here, so we're going to open this up, fold this piece down, and then tab it back in on the bottom, and that makes a little heel for his combined mode. Right. And then the last thing you're going to do is come back to here, flip up this little purple piece right here, and then close up this little green piece that's going to clip onto that purple piece to lock this joint right here. All right. So go ahead and do it on the other side. All right, now we got both sides done. We can tab it together. The toe will also tab together. Just make sure you do it all the way around. And we have these heel spurs back here as well. We're going to take the tires, fold those in. And one last step here, we're going to take these, although I guess it's a preference thing, but we're going to fold these down to make the thigh. All right, there is Demolitor in combined mode. And this looks really good. I like the overall sculpt of this. It does have some nice articulation. The ankles can rock back all the way to there, forward to there, side up to there, and back to there. The knee has a double joint, bends down to there. So, you know, it's got some really crazy articulation, probably more than you can actually utilize, to be honest, just because I don't think the robot can bend that far, but Pretty amazing that they're able to do all that. We can store the weapon still. So this will fit right there. And for a quick size comparison, there is next to the Tour World Constructor, their version of Devastator. And you can see this leg comes up to about the knee of the Tour World. So it's got a whole other thigh above it, which, you know, obviously Tour World is going to be a lot bigger than this guy. Now, me personally, I'm not planning to use this for combined mode, so it doesn't matter to me. But just so you know, the combined mode is definitely much smaller than our typical Masterpiece combiners. So final recommendations on the Ocular Max Demolitor. I think this is a fantastic figure, almost worth a 5. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. I'm going to recommend it. I think the only thing really holding these back is the lack of paint. And I totally get why they're not painting these. I mean, there is some paint on it, but overall it's unpainted. And the tolerances on this are beautiful. You know, everywhere it just feels very good. You know, feels like a, you know, top-notch figure. And if you were to add paint, that would definitely change the tolerances. That would definitely throw things off and potentially get, you know, paint scrapage because of the way it transforms. So I understand it, but it is a thing that people compare when looking at Fans Toys and X-Transbots. The only other thing is the combined mode is a little bit on the small side for a Masterpiece, but me personally, I'm not planning to use these for combined mode. I'm going to use these for a robot or vehicle mode. So they're perfect for my collection. So yeah, I still give these a 4 out of 5. Still recommend them. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Toy Dojo, and we'll see you next time.
TM Reviews. What's up, YouTube fans?